Have you ever worried that using a smartphone at a gas station might cause a fiery explosion, or that your smartphone could be silently giving you cancer? Today, we're debunking 8 of the wildest smartphone myths that might be keeping you up at night, and so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. So myth number 8 here will be charging overnight damages your battery. Remember when leaving your smartphone plugged in overnight was considered very dangerous? Yeah, those were the days. I once got into a heated debate with my mom about this. She was convinced my smartphone would turn into a ticking time bomb if I left it past midnight, and spoiler alert, it didn't. You see, modern smartphones are smart. I mean, it's in the name. They've got built-in temperature sensors and fancy circuitry that monitor battery levels. Once your battery hits 100%, it reduces the incoming current to a trickle or stops it altogether. In fact, brands like Samsung and Apple have some form of optimized battery charging. This nifty little trick learns your charging habits faster than you learn how to hide your browser history. I'm talking to you. It delays reaching 100% until just before you usually unplug your smartphone, reducing the time your battery spends fully charged and potentially extending its lifespan. Think about it. If overnight charging was really frying your batteries, don't you think smartphone companies would be plastering warnings all over the place? I'm pretty sure we'd see more red flags than a toxic relationship. So how many of you believed in this myth? Drop a comment below, let's see who's been living in fear. Myth number 7. You need to close your apps to save your battery. Alright, this is confession time. I used to be that person who frantically closed apps whenever my battery was about 50%. I was swiping away like I was rejecting every potential date on a speed dating app. Now, modern smartphones are super efficient. They manage background applications better than most of us manage our inboxes. In fact, constantly closing and reopening applications can actually use more battery. It's like your phone is playing a never-ending game of where did I keep my keys? Because it takes more energy to find these apps' assets, reload back in memory and all that. If you really want to save your battery life on your smartphone, try adjusting your screen brightness or turning off location services, the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi when you're not using them. That's more practical. Tip number 6. More megapixel means better photos. We've all seen those ads introducing the new Ultra Max Phone Z with a gazillion megapixels. It sounds impressive, right? It also sounds like having more megapixel automatically turns your smartphone into a mix of a Hollywood director and a paparazzi camera. But here's the truth bomb. Megapixels are just one piece of the photography puzzle. It's like saying a cake is amazing just because it has a ton of sprinkles. Sure, sprinkles are great, but what about the actual cake, the frosting, the overall flavor? In camera terms, we're talking about sensor size, the software processing, the lens quality. All this matter in terms of the picture that comes off your smartphone. These are the real MVPs of phone photography. Megapixels are like tiny dots on a canvas. More dots can mean more detail, especially when you zoom in. But if your smartphone sensor is actually small, all those extra megapixels are just crowding each other like sardines in a can. For me, the megapixel race is like a peacock contest. It's all about who can show off the most, but it doesn't always mean they are the best bird in town. Myth number 5. Expensive smartphones are always better for you. Now, this is an age-old question that makes wallets everywhere tremble in fear. Are expensive smartphones really worth it? It's like asking if that designer handbag is really better than the perfectly good one you already have. Spoiler, probably not. Before you sell your kidney for the latest and greatest smartphone, let's bust this myth wide open. High-end smartphones are like the superheroes of the smartphone world, packed with great features, blazing fast processors, with cameras that could probably see into the future. But here's the million-dollar question, sometimes literally. Do you actually need all that power? Think about it like this. Do you need a Formula 1 car for your daily commute in Lagos traffic? You're probably not. Same goes for a smartphone that's really powerful. The mid-range market is where it's all at. They've all got great features, snappy performance, and cameras that will make your Instagram followers wonder if you're secretly becoming a professional photographer. I mean, take a look at the Pixel devices. So buying the most expensive smartphone is like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Sure, it'll get the job done, but you might be overdoing it a tad. And that brings me to myth number 4. Using your smartphone at the gas station can cause a fire outbreak. This one has been making rounds for ages. Probably since the days when smartphones were the size of bricks and had antennas. Gas stations often have these signs warning against smartphone use while pumping gas, and it's really easy to jump to the conclusion that a single phone call will turn you into a walking fireball. But that's not exactly true. The real reason behind these warnings is to prevent distractions. Imagine this: you're scrolling through your Instagram reel and laughing at memes, and you forget to have the attendant remove the nozzle, or remove it yourself if you're in regions that allow that, before driving off. Now you've got gasoline spewing everywhere, and that's where the real danger lies. So keep your smartphone in your pocket, pump your gas, and then resume your social media deep dive. Of course, when you're seated, not when you're driving. Safety first, memes later. By the way, if you're loving this video so far, I'd really appreciate you subscribing and hitting on the like button, as those would help us and save us from not being seen by others. Thank you. Myth number 3, signals from your smartphone interfere with airplanes. Now, have you ever been on a plane and heard the announcement to turn off your devices or switch them to airplane mode? In this region, you are told to turn it off. You might think your smartphone could bring down that plane faster than your mom could spot a mistake in your social media posts. Unfortunately, she does. Well, hold on to your seats, because this one is a bit of a mixed bag. Older aircraft with unshielded cockpit instrumentation could indeed face interference from mobile devices and signals, but most modern planes, anything from the 90s down, are heavily shielded against such interference. In fact, even for these older planes, the likelihood of a smartphone causing a critical issue or crash is extremely low. However, there's still a good reason to, heed to the instruction and announcements. It's all about safety and avoiding any potential disruption in communication between the aircraft and the ground control. Myth number 2, drying out your wet smartphone using rice. You know the drill. Your phone takes a dive into the toilet and suddenly you're panicking like a cat in a dog park. Your first instinct is to grab the phone and throw it into a bag of rice. This myth has been passed for a long time, but does it actually work? Here's the truth. Rice can absorb moisture, but it's about as reliable as using a straw to bail out water from a sinking boat. When your smartphone gets wet, the water can seep into the circuitry and cause more damage by shorting the circuits. Sure, rice might help a bit, but it's not a miracle worker. Silica gel packets, those little things that come with new shoes, new bags, and everyone tells you not to eat them. They are designed to absorb moisture effectively. Personally, I'd rather take the smartphone to a certified technician for proper drying done on the smartphone. It might cost a few bucks, but it's worth it to avoid the heartbreak of a dead phone. So next time your smartphone takes a swim, don't rely on rice alone. By the way, have any of you tried the rice trick? Did it work for you, or was it a total flop? Let me know in the comment section below. And myth number 1, smartphone emits harmful radiation and can cause cancer. This has always been one of those things that people have been worried about when it comes to not just smartphones, but cellular technology in general, from causing cancer to other nasty diseases. The truth is, the electromagnetic radiation our smartphones emit is completely safe. A quick explanation here. Your smartphone emits non-ionizing radiation, which is about as harmful as the light from your fridge when you sneak in for a midnight snack. It doesn't have the energy to damage your DNA or cause cancer. In fact, you get more radiation exposure from spending a day at the beach than you do from using your smartphone. If you need more convincing, the World Health Organization and numerous studies have shown that there is no significant risk from using your smartphones. So relax, your phone isn't a mini nuclear reactor. It's more like a loyal companion that helps you navigate life, play games, and also stay connected. So now it's your turn. Which myth surprised you the most? Let me know in the comment section before you check out this video I made on how I jumped from a plane at 10,000 feet. Cuidate.